Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the final part to What If BARDOCK was like Dr. GERO. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jit. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
BARDOCK returns to Earth after his time with Whis and Beerus. He's learned God Key, he's gotten what he wanted out of that partnership, and now he can go and focus on his tech. As he arrives, he releases all his bots across the galaxy. Rather quickly, they discover planets with great materials and things that he can work with. Alongside this, he accelerates his progress at the grace of his new God Key. All his creations that previously relied on ordinary Key can now be powered using God Key. This enhancement allows for them to work more efficiently and also to be far stronger in general. On the bot's journeys though, they find a certain planet Vampa. The bot soars through the skies and takes in the large yellowish brown scenery. Within this vast wasteland it locates Broly. He is currently chowing down on some core prey and looks to be quite strong. He's taken down something far larger than himself and has a very muscular frame. The bot runs its formulae and concludes that this must be a Saiyan. For someone to be so strong and have such a humanoid appearance simply gives it away. Therefore it leaves and relays this information onto BARDOCK. This leaves him stunned. The bot shows him holograms of this fighter taking down massive monsters with his immense strength. It leads him to stop what he's doing and totally draws him in. This inevitably shifts his focus. He was going to stay here and work on his bots and that would be it, but now that he has seen a fellow Saiyan out there, he has to go out and see what's happening. He thought that his family and then Vegeta and Nappa were all they had left. He foresaw that terrible night of the planet being destroyed and felt like that would be the end for all of those who didn't listen to him. After seeing those events played out exactly as they did in his mind, he assumed that everyone else perished. However, here is an adult Saiyan alive and well. He looks up in his lab and at his sleek, gleaming new suit. It's time to go. Strapping on the gear, he exits his lab and enters flight. He zips out the atmosphere and into space, using capsules of supplies to keep him going for the time being. He soars through the skies and eventually arrives at the planet. At first, it doesn't seem like much. The ground consists of a coarse, light brown rock and the air around is quite thick. He fragments his helmet and feels the decently warm air flow over his hair and skin. He begins his search, but stays vigilant for whatever could be here. This is unknown territory to him, and anything could happen. Soon though, he feels a presence, a strong signature that is approaching at an alarming pace. He turns and can see Broly sprinting at him, leaving a massive trail of dust in his wake. He promptly activates his helmet and leaps up to gain some more distance. Broly hurls down his massive fist and breaks the ground. The cracks even reach a gigantic nearby chasm, leading to rubble soaring down it. BARDOCK can see that and laughs to himself. This guy is not only a Saiyan, he's way stronger than any of the Saiyans back on planet Vegeta. Broly leaps up again, trying to battle. However, BARDOCK doesn't want to fight. He came here with no such intentions, and so wants to shut this down as quickly as he can. It's clear that there's been some form of misunderstanding. Attempting a punch, BARDOCK catches his wrist and then gracefully spins around to hurl him. BARDOCK descends and arrives in front of Broly again. I don't want to hurt you, Saiyan. I am not here for that. I am of no threat to you, BARDOCK says, taking down his helmet. Broly is still breathing intensely and is still a little riled up but seems willing to listen. Why are you here? BARDOCK asks. I came here when I was young. My father knows, Broly replies. Broly then brings him to Paragus, and this is when he gets a lot more information. He's been here after King Vegeta wanted his son slain for being too strong. He was going to overshadow his own son, Prince Vegeta, and could affect the social hierarchy where the royals are the strongest on planet Vegeta. It reminds him a lot of his own son that managed to become stronger than him. BARDOCK then speaks of Earth, the tiny diaspora that remains. He foresaw the planet getting destroyed and left before he and his family would die. If they want to meet others like them and go to a prosperous society, they can come along. Paragus can't help but accept. Being like the only intelligent individuals on this planet is making them almost go mad. As a result, it's an easy choice. Both head to Earth and BARDOCK starts accommodating them and acclimatizing them to the new environment. Next is the Universe 6 saga and its complete domination from Universe 7. Beerus knows how strong his men are and knows Champa stands no chance. All he needs is Kakarot and he can take down all the foes. Even with hit, he stands no chance at all. Black Super Saiyan Kakarot is all that's needed to control the situation. With complete ease, Universe 7 take the win and humiliate their twin universe. In the future timeline, Future Trunks holds his sword tightly, aiming it forward. There's a strong tremble in it. His feet quake just like his blade. His eyes sway across the surroundings with haste. Fear and terror commands his every movement. He isn't moving much, but is breathing like he's just run a marathon. A drop of sweat and blood from his face drops onto the cracked concrete beneath his feet, and in the sky is a silhouette. An unmoving and ostensibly uninteresting silhouette. However, this single black figure is striking fear into his soul like he's looking at evil incarnate. Well, that's because he is. Before him stands Kakarot Black. He descends and lands before him, slowly walking. He puts his arms behind his back and his straight face breaks out into a mischievous smile. "Don't be so scared, Trunks. This is the right thing," he says as he walks. "The sacrifice of you and those around you will go to making the world a much, much better place." Trunks isn't going to buy that. He swipes his sword and tries to slash him but can't get anywhere near him. He swings again but that attempt is also futile. Instead of just swinging again, he throws a close range ki blast and lights up the entire area. In that split second he takes off and flies away as fast as he can. In the garden of the Capsule Corp, he falls onto his sword and then Bulma rushes to his aid. He's reached the present. Once she gets Whis' attention, those on Beerus' planet rush over as fast as they can to see what's going on. Vegeta and Nappa don't actually know who this is. Vegeta never went into the time chamber to train with him or even talk to him for that matter. "Who is this Trunks individual?" Vegeta asks. "What's your son's name?" Kakarot asks, with a chuckle. "Yes, he has my son's name, but what does that have to do with anything?" Vegeta asks. "You'll see," Kakarot says, once they see Earth in the distance. They arrive in the area where future Trunks is, and the green sphere fades from around him. Vegeta stays still and calm with the crew for a time, but is looking at Trunks. Once it clicks for him, he sprints forward to get a closer look at his face. The man wakes up and looks straight at him. His face is a spitting image of his son. The only difference is that he looks much older. "What is this? What happened to my son?" Vegeta asks. However, he turns and can see Trunks stunned next to Bulma. "I'm sorry, I didn't really get to talk to you when I came here the first time. You weren't really part of the group back then. I'm your son, but I'm from the future. A different timeline and something really bad is happening," Trunks states. He explains the current situation and the Saiyans agree to head along with him to sort things out. The ship can't take all the Saiyans and so they only take Raditz, Vegeta and Kakarot. All three of them arrive and Vegeta demands that he starts the fight. After seeing that Trunks has been through this terrible situation, his own son, he believes that it should be him to make things right. Once they arrive, they find Kakarot Black in the sky. Vegeta lifts to begin the fight. He slowly ascends and smirks upon seeing the fake being. It's laughable that this person thinks that he can take a Saiyan's body and achieve anything significant with it. He'll show him the truth, the physically inferior being that he still is. Vegeta darts forward and aims forward his knee. He comes in hot and with a lot of momentum from his high speed and lands the hit cleanly. Kakarot Black is completely launched back and looks rough after that first hit. He grabs onto his shirt and feels a little annoyed that he's been hurt by this. He's drilled in this hierarchy between mortals and immortals and has also dominated over every single person in this timeline. For someone to just waltz in here and cause him such pain, it irritates him. Vegeta continues his assault and finds it very easy to take the man down. He doesn't have to do much at all. He's a good fighter. He can tell that some form of skill is there, but he's weak. However, the prince starts to notice his attacks move a little faster by the minute. Vegeta knocks away a fist only to get a strong hit to his jaw the next second. Vegeta is so shocked this attack almost takes his breath away. Something really has changed. This guy's literally gotten stronger as they've been fighting. Kakarot Black even pulls back his hand and looks at it for a short moment. As he advances, Vegeta just powers up into Super Saiyan and lets the next punch land on his face. It doesn't move him an inch. Another comes his way, but he catches the incoming arm by the wrist. He stops the attack in almost an instant, then begins squeezing more tightly. He also twists away his hand and causes the foe Saiyan much pain. He can feel the sharp pain rushing down his arm and can't free himself. "You're going to pay for everything that you've done here. You're an immoral, distasteful creature. You shall rot for what you've done," he states. He then swings the arm away and kicks him in his chin. This kick snaps his jaw back and breaks it while knocking him at least 100 meters away. Kakarot Black holds his jaw in agony. He grabs it and groans in pain before snapping the thing back into place. Then his natural healing seals up the injury. However, he still coughs out blood and looking at the pool of it in his palm. Upon looking up again, Vegeta has already grabbed him by the neck. The two of them dive down, then the prince starts flying around the place, just pushing Kakarot Black through buildings. He flies straight at these broken down structures at top speed, and leaves Kakarot Black to take the brunt of the force in each slam. Each hit hurts like hell for him since he's moving so quickly and can't do anything about it. Vegeta eventually lands in a street and chucks the man away. "What you've done here is terrible," Vegeta says, with his arms crossed. The way Vegeta talks here is slightly different. He feels a different way about the situation here. He doesn't want to sit on his high horse and just beat up Kakarot Black for the sake of it. He wants to beat someone that has done something immoral, something wrong. "If you're so much better than us, what is this? Why am I not dead yet?" Vegeta asks. Kakarot Black strugglingly gets up onto a knee but can feel pain panging in his body from every movement. Each movement is almost crippling, stopping him from getting up. He tries his best to back away, but his body just won't allow it. This leaves him terrified and worried about what is to come. Will this be the end of him? The end of his mission? Vegeta just aims forward a hand to blast him, but can then feel something approaching him at great pace. He turns and can see a sharp, rough woolen stick sent his way. He taps it aside from predicting it and can see another silhouette in the sky. This is Zamasu, another version of Zamasu in his true body. It took you a long time, Kakarot Black says, still holding his side. My apologies, Zamasu says, gracefully landing. Both immortals stand at opposite sides of Vegeta, closing him in. The prince looks between them a few times before breaking out into laughter. Come on then, both of you bring it on, Vegeta beckons them in, before powering up further into Super Saiyan 2. As he does so though, Kakarot Black also shows off his Super Saiyan transformation. Now healed, he stands up and smiles, ready to start the fight again. Vegeta aims for Zamasu first. He visibly isn't a Saiyan and guesses that he'll be easier to deal with. He lands a powerful punch with devastating strength that knocks him down. However, he receives an elbow from behind from Kakarot Black that drops him to his knees. Just before he can be attacked again, he leaps into flight and brings the two fighters away from him. The two continue to chase him and Super Saiyan 2 starts being insufficient. However, Vegeta has had his fun. He doesn't want this to get out of control. He grabs Zamasu by his neck, then gets surrounded by this flowing fiery energy. Those watching don't know what it is and are a little cautious. What other tricks does he have up his sleeve? Vegeta starts smiling, then his hair turns to a blood red. He squeezes on Zamasu's neck harder as he grows stronger, then hurls him down. He turns to Kakarot Black, then speed blitzes him. Landing a quick snappy punch, he manages to break through his whole torso and even his heart. Kakarot Black grabs onto his fist and tries his hardest to free himself. Vegeta does not falter and in seconds the man is no more. As for Zamasu though, things aren't as straightforward. Vegeta begins an intense assault against him but finds that there's little that he can do. He just can't get him down. That's when Kakarot can see things aren't going their way and calls for Zeno. He swoops right in, erases the universe and brings an end to the Future Trunks arc. Following this point, there is the Tournament of Power. Before the tournament begins, Kakarot is up against Toppo, just a little preliminary fight. Toppo is quite arrogant, of course, being the god of destruction in training that he is. That training has affirmed his strength. The position he's soon to hold confirms his power as well. He's one of the strongest in his own universe and is sure that's the same for the whole multiverse as well. He makes his stance and Kakarot does the same. The fight is on. Kakarot slowly edges forward and begins circling around the ring. Now, compared to his canon self, Kakarot has been through similar training, but with his Frieza DNA in this timeline, it means that his progress has also been astounding. The other Saiyans don't like to outright admit it or even think about it too much, but there's no challenging him. Raditz has Frieza DNA as well. Vegeta and Nappa together will have no chance of defeating even Raditz. Then all three of them will have no chance of defeating Kakarot. The gap is massive. Toppo charges and thrusts forward his right leg for a kick. Kakarot, however, fluidly evades, then takes a light step back. Toppo turns and continues on with sharp focus. However, even with this, he is not fast enough to land on the target. He can see that things just aren't going to work and so uses his aura of a god state. Imbued with God Ki, every muscle in his body has been invigorated and he tightens his fist upon feeling this greater strength. Kakarot readies himself and the fight is on again. This time Toppo moves way faster, forcing Kakarot to throw out both hands and stop his punch. Their hands both clash, but both stay firm. That's when there's a bit of a pushing game that happens. Many of the watchers then get intrigued to see what's going to happen, who will be the first to get overpowered and lose the struggle, if you will. Nobody seems to gain the upper hand on the other, and both break out of it before someone could be overpowered. Whoa, you're really strong, Kakarot realizes. Toppo doesn't reply to this. He's very standoffish as we know and doesn't take note of his words. Kakarot lands a quick jab but also takes one to his face. A right hand fires at him, but he lifts both hands and takes a good few punches. With each one, he can feel that they're extremely powerful. He has to be on his A game, working 100% to deal with it, but he handles it and steps back a great deal. This leaves Toppo to sprint in his direction, then Kakarot ups it to Super Saiyan. Powering forward, he punches him right in the solar plexus. The intense force behind this strike knocks the wind out of him completely. He's left to fly away and off the ring to get eliminated. Many of those watching are so surprised at how this guy took the fight so easily. Many people turn to Universe 7 spectators, but all watch with straight faces. This is quite alarming because of what is coming. This Tournament of Power is not just a fancy fight, every universe that is defeated will be erased. It wasn't like Kakarot beat a nobody, he beat Universe 11's God of Destruction in training. They're sure they have strong warriors in their own universe, but what will happen if their own warriors face this being? Universe 7 go on to form their team for the tournament, and it consists of Kakarot, Raditz, Vegeta, Nappa, Bardock, Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, Symbol and Broly. Symbol is a much stronger bio-android compared to the version of himself that faced Cell many years ago, and he has received further augmentations to make him stronger. This is a far more stacked team than the one we'd seen in the canon, with the weakest of them still being insanely powerful fighters. Broly has been spending time with the Saiyans now, after Paragus explained that he has power that needs to be controlled. Bardock sees potential in him and so do the others. If they can train him up to control the monstrous strength that he has, he could be very powerful. He hasn't gotten that control down though, so here they make sure to tell him to stay calm and not let his rage take over. When that happens, he has no inhibitions and could kill someone here. That's strictly forbidden in this tournament and obviously immoral, so they stay away from doing that. If push comes to shove and they absolutely have to, they will eliminate Broly. Weapons aren't allowed in the Tournament of Power, so Bardock's suit isn't allowed either, so he isn't as strong as he would have hoped. However, he is still a Saiyan android. He has infinite stamina and augmented himself after his time searching the galaxy for better materials. He managed to make his AI even more intelligent, far more intelligent than himself, and they found further augmentations to his body to make him an even stronger android. Of course, since he was already an android, it wasn't like he could go through a whole different procedure, they could only add on to what was already there. Still, it's a massive improvement. His first foe is Dispo. Bardock begins using Super Saiyan God and feels more eager to fight. Instead of following Whis' path of Ultra Instinct, Bardock wants to still fight like a Saiyan. I mean, he was trained that way his whole life and he's much older than the other Saiyans, and so is more stuck in his own ways. He finds the idea of not thinking before moving and fighting with total calmness as useless. It's just not the way a Saiyan should fight in his eyes. He sprints ahead and Dispo throws an attack as he advances. He just slides under his incoming attack before side rolling. He bounces back up then steps back away from a very speedy punch from Dispo. The speed does impress him, but he's still far too slow to be a threat. Dispo continues on forward and throws a jumping kick that Bardock simply slips by. In this movement, he throws out a ki blast and strikes him in the side of his body. The explosion is powerful and sends Dispo sliding back. He holds his side in pain and can see that he's already bleeding. It annoys him since he's used to dodging attacks like that. Even from Toppo, he can predict and use his explosive nimble frame to get out the way. Dispo throws this aside and continues though, what's a single lucky shot anyway. He explodes, preparing an intense combination. The punches start flying, but Bardock manages to slip and move out the way of almost all of them. They continuously fly past him and he catches the last one. Dispo is stunned. How has his punch been caught? He'd understand a lucky dodge or a block, but this? Bardock squeezes on his wrist, breaking one of his knuckles. He then throws a vicious uppercut with his right hand followed by a right hook. He continues battering Dispo with this one hand all the way to the edge of the ring. Dispo coughs out blood and starts swaying from side to side. Once he lets go, he's left to fall and is eliminated. Broly looks around a little nervously trying to find a fighter. He's pretty much alone here with all the people that he knows invested in their own battles. Toppo finds him and immediately begins the fight. Before he can say a word, Toppo knees him in his face and chips one of his teeth. Broly coughs the tooth out and receives a whipping hook to his stomach. This attack sounds like a gunshot and even catches the attention of some of the other people watching. I must stay calm, Broly whispers to himself. He doesn't want to go haywire like he's done before. So many people have been put in grave danger when that happens. He can't let it happen again. The attacks keep coming and Toppo is confused at why he isn't responding in any meaningful way. He just takes the hits and stays still. I must stay calm, he reiterates. Toppo isn't bothered though. He'll be an easy fighter to get rid of. He soon aims principally for the face. This is where the knockout punches come from. He even lands some whipping kicks and just continues the ruthless beatdown. Broly wipes blood from his face and no longer utters his mantra. He falls silent and looks down with his hair blocking his face. Toppo goes in to try and land another attack, but Broly catches it. He looks up with golden eyes. Shouting, he pulls then headbutts the Pride Trooper. He then swings him around and hurls him toward the center pole of the arena. Broly leaps up and pulls up his arms like he's an ape, smashing his arms down. He creates a massive crater and knocks Toppo down almost instantly. He throws down a relentless flurry of punches, leaving Toppo looking busted up. He soon has a swollen eye and blood covering his face and body. Broly grabs his arm then swings around to hurl him at the edge of the ring. Sprinting at him, he headbutts him and knocks him off. Turning around, he can see Caulifla and Kale. Both look alarmed at the beastly individual staring them down, but the former is the first to act. She runs and jumps, aiming for a kick. However, Broly backhands her off the ring before shouting at Kale. Upon seeing this harm to her sister, Kale snaps. She shouts and loses control, bursting her pupils and entering her Super Saiyan Berserk state. The legendary Super Saiyans of their respective universes stare at each other. Kel jumps at Broly and lands a punch on him before grabbing his head and slamming his with her own. These attacks work to anger Broly and causes him to lose the small amount of control that he had. He managed to focus and eliminate Toppo, but now he's gone completely. He grabs Kel and throws her down before landing a vicious ape-like slam. Kel is hurt by that attack, but just like a hurt animal, it's only their death that will stop them from fighting back. She grabs his extended arm and bites on it, making Broly growl out in pain. Lifting her with his arm, he whips his arm out and slingshots her into the central arena pole. This knocks her straight through it, and Broly runs toward her and leaps through the rubble at her. Just when she can see him reveal himself, she receives 2 massive arm swings to her body. They viciously knock her down again and lead her to snapping her right arm. She shouts out in pain, but Broly just continues on. Just like him though, she grows stronger. Broly lands another punch, but she rises and takes another punch to the face. She then grabs his hand, throwing it away before reaching for his waist. Lifting him up, she lands a powerful slam and then lands a punch while he's down. Broly gets quite hurt by that attack and then takes another. This isn't like a technical controlled wrestling match, this is an all-out war. Blood is flying out from every hit and they don't stop at anything to hurt the other. Kel bites him right on his arm and breaks through the skin easily. He shouts out in pain and continues punching her on the head, trying to knock her out. He soon draws blood himself, making her pull back and hold the wound in pain. This is even with her right hand, using the arm that was broken earlier in the fight. The will derived from this berserk state is overpowering any sense of pain that she feels right now. Other Universe 7 spectators see this and find that it's enough. Golden Super Saiyan God Raditz swoops in with luscious orange hair and grabs Kel to hurl her out the ring. As for Broly, he taps his neck and knocks him out before eliminating him. He doesn't want him causing any more problems on the spectators bench once he's teleported there. Now Raditz has no issue with taking out one of his own because the fight is pretty much over. Many of Universe 7's members remain, and the last main fight is Kakarot against Jiren. Kakarot begins in his base form but is terribly overpowered, therefore he brings things up to Black Super Saiyan. This 20,000 times multiplier on the spot ends the fight right here. He lands a single punch on Jiren, knocking the wind out of him completely. He coughs up blood from this hit and grunts in agony. Kakarot then lands a swift hook and knocks him down onto his back. Jiren looks up to a blackness above. It's almost like his chest is on fire. There's ringing in his right ear as well. However, Jiren has a will stronger than any ordinary fighter. The fact that he could be weaker than this person leads him into a fit of rage. He lifts and turns, now directly facing Kakarot. He powers up and lets out all his strength. His shirt rips off from his intense power up and full power Jiren is hit. He charges at Kakarot and tries to punch him, only to totally miss the mark. Kakarot slips past him, grabs his wrist and then runs toward the edge of the ring. "You are a good fighter, Jiren. I hope we can fight another time," Kakarot says back to Jiren as he slowly runs. It kind of catches the attention of the other fighters because the way he's chosen to do this is just so odd. He flings him off the ring and eliminates the strongest fighter in the tournament outside Universe 7. Shortly after, they defeat everyone else and Universe 7 gets the win. Once they get the wish from Super Shenron, they wish to get back all of the other universes, so everything is fine and well in the end. After this, since Broly is already on Earth, there is no Broly arc. Also, since Frieza wasn't given his body back from not participating in the Tournament of Power in this timeline, the arc just doesn't happen. Next is the Moro arc. Now Meris is in search of a strong warrior to help him in the struggles against Moro, but ends up finding someone else that could help, BARDOCK. BARDOCK is currently training with Symbol just outside his lab near his house. These androids are around him all the time and so have grown very close to him. They're like his children. They have utmost respect for him and are grateful because he's the reason they're still alive. BARDOCK is just letting Symbol practice some form work like light combinations and footwork. Even if Symbol is just one of his creations, his main role is protecting the Earth. BARDOCK almost runs his own form of vigilante police force, if you will. His little insect bots fly through the skies and survey the entire world to see if anything's up. He can stop things like violent crime before they happen and also help with natural disasters. As they're training, Meris lands before him. Now Symbol can sense that he is an unknown figure and is immediately hostile. Who is this person? I can sense that he's very strong, Symbol says to BARDOCK, making his stance. BARDOCK is uneasy at first as well, and the guy does have a gun aimed up at them. BARDOCK makes a weird signal with his hands and Meris has no clue what this could be about. A metal ring on his wrist starts flashing as well, then suddenly massive pieces of metal start flying out from his house toward him. They latch onto his body and assemble, but this whole thing startles Meris. All of these components are flying at very fast speeds and all have repulsors on them to let them travel in this way, meaning that they're very loud. As a result, he shoots out his dark gun to both Symbol and BARDOCK. The duo wake up in the ship they're taken in and demand answers. Who are you? Why did you tranquilize us? BARDOCK asks. Marius looks uneasy at first, but can see that once he wakes up he doesn't attack, therefore he doesn't do anything. I'm not a threat to any of you. I just got a little startled by that suit formation of yours. I need your help to take down someone that has escaped prison. He's a very dangerous person and we need to get him back behind bars as soon as possible. BARDOCK is on board with this. His suit is best for things like this. Compared to fighting and raw power, it isn't as good compared to the Saiyans back on Earth that are just stronger than him. However, when it comes to things like search and rescue and other tactical missions, it's helpful. Not only that, but BARDOCK is fond of things like that. He was a soldier back in his day and was trained for various types of missions. They arrive on Namek and shortly arrive before Moro. BARDOCK gives no time for pleasantries and immediately gets into the fight. He imbues his suit with God Ki and makes it vastly more powerful. Firing out his sound shockwave from at least 80 meters away, it traps Moro and leads him to grab his ears in agony. He drops to his knees and ends up coughing out blood from his internal organs rattling around. BARDOCK then flies up to him, then begins pulling the key strings around his body. He spins around him a great number of times, reaching more than 100 times. He then straps the string so tightly that Moro can't move. Marius then wraps him around in that blue substance and that's everything. BARDOCK has taken him down. The two fighters now act as security in the return of Moro to prison. They stay there just in case he tries to act out and escape. Luckily for the Galactic Patrol, he doesn't, and the two receive badges for their great work. Symbol didn't do much in taking down Moro, but in the other miniature missions that they took part in on the way, he was the main force. I'll put some images up from the manga to show you the other things dealt with before Moro was confronted to show you what I mean. The two individuals return to Earth and peace continues as usual. Far away on planet Cereal, Granola wants to wish to become the strongest in the whole universe. He tries to, but it's futile. He cannot. The wish comes back as just invalid. The life force that he'd require to perform the transformation would leave him to rot in minutes at the very most. Therefore, Granola leaves that goal behind him, and this kind of makes sure that the Granola arc never actually happens. With Frieza also being dead and not being able to train and acquire his black form, this ends the events of Dragon Ball Super in relative peace. The Saiyans continue training to their heart's content, with BARDOCK remaining on Earth to continue his works and protecting the Earth. So that will conclude What If BARDOCK Was Like Dr. GERO. Please tell me something you liked about this What If or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.